Fireside Chat. Thanks for tuning in to our program. Please continue to join us as we will be having a lot of interesting topics and discussions. Look for new information every Saturday with us on Fireside Chat.
Hello and welcome. Glad to have you here.
We're glad you found the channel. My name's Dennis Mudge, this is my son Terry, and we're kind of new at doing this. What we're wanting to do is bring you a new program every Saturday. We're a little late getting it on now. Possibly I'll upload this today. It's Sunday. And typically, I think what we're going to try to do is at least post it by Saturday, right, son?
We're going to try to have this on every Saturday, and like we're saying, it's good to be here, and welcome to Fireside Chat.
This is kind of a pilot program, meaning it's our first one that we're doing. Usually we'll have a topic for discussion, some subject matter, if you will.
Yes, let's go ahead and fill the viewers in on what we're going to be talking about today.
Why don't we chat a little bit about musicians, music, different bands in our area. We're in Lindsay, California, a small town located between Fresno and Bakersfield, right in the San Joaquin Valley.
That's right, and there's quite a music scene around here. It varies. A lot of it is a kind of a country valley sound to it, as far as it goes, and we know a lot of the people in that local music scene as far as that local country music here in the San Joaquin Valley. Go ahead.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me that there is a band called Charlie Mack and the Ramblers. Now, Charlie lives over in Porterville, and his wife is Dee, and they're in a band. Ed Toddy's in that band. And yeah, you're right about country sounds. It's not only country which comes into this valley. You'll probably hear of a mixture, maybe a little bit of blues and rock and roll and stuff like that. But since we started with Charlie, sometimes, and we're also musicians, might as well say that now. It's better sooner than later. Why don't you tell them?
Well, we shouldn't toot our own horns, toot, but...
I love to toot it.
Yes, I play a little guitar, and there's Mr. Maestro, my dad.
Oh, golly, no. Yeah, and I'm always learning. I don't know it all. There's always something new to learn. I play, like you said, the keyboard or piano, and I watch something on television, and there seems to be a little different technique. But you play that guitar and you do different songs. So we are ourselves, we're in a band called Raisin Cane is the name of our band. And besides my son Terry and myself, sometimes the wife will sing, and her name's Susan. So sometimes we'll pick up some other musicians to fill in and actually help us out if we get into a bind.
Yeah, and we're pretty versatile. Around here we mostly stick to the country music, but we can play blues and rock and roll, and we do a little bit of that as the occasion calls for it. We play whatever.
You got any information at all? I'm trying to think of something, and some of you people in the valley might know of Charlie Mack and the Rambler Band. heck, we've played music with him before. You got anything interesting that you might like to share with?
Yeah, getting back to that, Charlie Mack and the Ramblers, there's an interesting story about him. You know, he's quite the bass player and performer. He has a style all his own, and he can actually drink a cup of coffee and play that bass at the same time. You wouldn't believe it unless you've seen it.
It was a first. It was actually a first. I couldn't believe it. And if you're a musician, you can listen and you can tell if somebody's playing or not. And actually, Charlie Mack can go through the motions, and like my son was saying, he'll have that coffee, and he looks like he's strumming the the strings on that bass guitar, but he's not. But he's keeping a good rhythm, isn't he?
That's right. It's very interesting. A lot of the thing about the music and the performing, a lot of it has to do with the performance and the way you come across. A lot of it's show, and Chuck, or Charlie Mack, as he's called sometimes, he knows his way around the stage and in front of people. Performing and the way you come across has a lot to do with it.
I'm thinking of music on Main Street. When it gets around to springtime or summer, you don't have to pay to watch the entertainment. In Porterville on Main Street, spring and summer, they'll have different bands go in. Also over here in Lindsay. Now, Porterville's a town, as you locals know, not too far from where we're situated in Lindsay. So that's a way to check out the sounds, right, and watch what's going on.
Oh, that's right. And all you got to do is take the time to do it and just kick back and enjoy it. There's that, and there's all other kinds of free music scenes, or free to a certain extent. I mean, there's the 210 Club over in Visalia, which is a great place to go with a little different style of music. They do a lot more of the oldies and blues and a little jazzy. It varies from place to place, but that's a good place. Go ahead.
It is a good place. It's a very good place, 210 Club. It's a restaurant over in the old part of Visalia on Main Street, and we've done music there before. We've played some music. They strike up the band on Saturday mornings, and since it's a restaurant, it's nice if you go in there at least get a cup of coffee. Most people will purchase a breakfast, and they go in. I think another reason they like to go is for the entertainment. They like to hear those sounds.
Yes, there's a gentleman there that's really good there on the piano. He kind of spearheads it. His name is Richard, and it's very entertaining, and he lets other people join, and there's a lot of decent players, and you can even join in. He likes to have the audience participate. He'll even encourage some people to come up and join him on a song or do a song, and it's great.
That's very good, and see, that's some of the deal with entertainment. If you can get people interested enough, even to come up and take some of that time up by doing their things they've learned on the instruments, or to sing. There's a lot of vocalists there that come up, and they don't seem to be too shy about doing that. Very quickly, we've gone on and on and on. I don't want to bore everybody to tears, so there's one other thing that I wanted to mention, is the music. That instrumental song you hear at the beginning of this program, or when we end the program, that was a song which I went ahead and wrote. It was my own composition. It's entitled Classical Pick, and it's a beautiful song. I like the melody. It's nobody else's. It's just one of my own. And I guess it's just, see, we could come up with anything for beginning a show or ending the show, but if you have a song with music, with words in it, unfortunately, when you have words, you're battling it out with whoever's trying to talk, right?
Yes, and that's right. And the thing is, that's nice musical original that my dad come up with that song, and that's super. But getting back to the what we were talking about before about the music scene, there's a kind of a younger fella on the music scene goes by the name the fella, you might have heard of him, Tommy Crawford, and he's super. He does really good. He does a lot of country. He can play anything. He plays a lot of oldies, and he's quite the fella.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. We've played music with him before. Matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago when we were over at the Lindsay Park. It was Saturday back, 2 Saturdays now, and my friend Harold Cathy, who used to live in Lindsay, decided to come over for a visit, and he was going through different towns. He lives in Oklahoma now, but his cousin was Don Cathy. That's a cousin of Harold's. Now Don's passed, but back in school days when I was in high school, his cousin Don Cathy, I knew him. He would come by and he said, that Dennis, he'd just tear up that piano. And Harold, now unfortunately Don's passed. He's passed away now. But Harold said, golly, that's nothing but nice things that his cousin would say about me. And Harold even cued me in. He said, Dennis, you might not have known it, but when you had your band, when you lived over on Lafayette Street here in Lindsay, he would come by and park while we were practicing. See, this was before the days of keyboards. And so I had to roll the old upright piano out into the garage, and the other band people would come over. We were the Larry and the Wonders, even played for the senior graduation dance. That's back in 1961, but anyway, they seemed to enjoy it. The neighborhood would just come over when we were playing music. My son Terry here, he's picked up the guitar. He's learned a lot about that guitar.
Oh yes, I play the electric 6-string, and I do acoustic. I got a 12-string, and that's a much fuller, nicer sound within itself. Anyhow, I'm not sure. We've gone on and on for some time. I haven't been keeping track of the time, but we might want to wind it up. It's nice talking with you all out here, and I'm Terry Mudge, and this is my dad, Dennis Mudge.
Yeah, and we're over here in Lindsay, just on the east side of town, barely out of the city limits. So we're gonna see how this works out. I just hope that it's going to be great. We'll just continue with different subjects. And so,
okay,
with that,
bye for now.
Bye-bye for now.
It was a pleasure having you here with us.
And just as a reminder, please check in next Saturday for a brand new show.
We encourage and appreciate any viewer comments.
Remember, you've been viewing